Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about normality. What is normal? Can there be a normal? And given that we live in a world where everyone is trying to chase this idea of normal, can we ever really truly know someone? So this discussion started in my mind when I read this book, Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, a Japanese author. The protagonist, Keiko Furukura, who works at a convenience store, says, an ordinary person is like a fictitious person inside everyone else, just like a store worker is a fictitious person inside everyone who's working at the store. So essentially, this means that whenever somebody is coming into the store, is walking in for their shift as a store worker, they don this aura, they put on this aura as the store worker, and that is what makes them a store worker. Similarly, everyone who is trying to be normal, according to the protagonist of the novel, dons this aura of being an ordinary normal person, and that is what hence makes them normal. And we see this exemplified in her behavior when she kind of plays an imitation game with her colleagues and her friends. Whenever she'll see that a certain kind of behavior is being rewarded in society, she will somehow try to imitate that behavior. So if a person who smiles a certain way is getting attention, she will kind of try to smile like that person. Or if a person speaks to people in a particular manner, she will try to pick up that language. If somebody walks a certain way, if somebody talks a certain way, so she picks on these social cues and she plays this imitation game, this kind of mirroring, so that she appears normal. And the reason behind this, she says when you walk inside a convenience store, which is where she works at, you are given a manual on basically how to exist, because you are told what to wear, you are told where to stand, you are told your lines, you are told how to behave, you are told what to do if there's a problem, and you are given an appropriate compensation for that at the end of the month, which is your salary, which is your pay. Unfortunately, no such manual comes for real life. So a lot of people find themselves in fix when they're in real life situations because they have not been told what to do in a particular situation. So Keiko Furukura, she started this job when she was 18 as a part-time gig, which is very common in Japan. But given the fact that she's 36 years old now, she has no husband, she has no children, and she has no ambitions or dreams to speak of, is what is the cause of anxiety for all her friends and family who think there's something wrong with her, because she finds happiness and satisfaction in only working at a convenience store, which is a concept that they don't understand. But for her, it's bliss, because she enjoys this kind of relationship she has with her work, with the convenience store, and she is happy with it. But for some reason, people do not find it normal, and they keep trying to fix her. Ideally, what the friends and family would want is for her to either get a job, get married, or ideally do both. Keiko is, as it is later revealed in the novel, she's an unreliable narrator, so she's kind of a sociopath. She's very sharp, she's highly observant, and she's a high functioning sociopath at that. She forms this relationship with another kind of dysfunctional member of society, Shiraha, this man called Shiraha, who is a misogynistic cynic. There is this another dysfunctional character that's introduced in the story, Shiraha. Keiko and Shiraha get into a relationship, and they're two dysfunctional adults getting into obviously what then becomes a dysfunctional relationship. But her friends and family overlook that fact willingly because they're happy for her to be normal and to be in a relationship, a bad relationship at that, than be in no relationship at all. Because what is considered normal in society for a 36-year-old woman is to have some semblance of stability in her life. I think that now that Keiko is a woman who has relationship troubles, she's better off being normal than being a social misfit. And this brings me to this other book I read, Normal People by Sally Rooney, which is just amazing. The book explores the same question of what is normal as typical young adult novels deals with teenagers or people in their early 20s asking this question. But what you see in Convenience Store Woman is a 36-year-old woman who is asking the same questions as these 20-year-olds. When does it end? Or does it at all? This feeling of trying to fit in ever reach a conclusion? You see, we think that when I'll be uh, when I'll be a certain number of age, I'll know what I want to do with my life, and I will be living my best life. And then you keep living and you keep growing up, and you keep realizing that there is no manual that is coming to tell you what to do at a certain age, whether it be 20 or 30 or 50 or even 90. Normal can really change depending on what kind of social circle you are in. So that's the hipster paradox essentially, because you can try to divert yourself away from what is the mainstream culture, which is what I believe is what people talk about when they talk about normal. When people are talking about normal, people are actually talking about mainstream. So when someone tries to go away from the mainstream and try and be a hipster, but you're not a real hipster unless you're acting and dressing and being like the true hipsters out there, which just makes it so funny, because you have to fit into this new definition of normal that is being a hipster. So whether that includes an aesthetic of for men, maybe growing a beard, having glasses, top bun, maybe plaid shirt, I don't know, a mustache. So that then becomes your true normal, that then becomes your true becomes your new mainstream. So there really is no end to this, I guess. And the fact that there is no manual on how to behave can either be taken as a very sad fact, or it can be taken as a very happy fact. Because you see, life then becomes a blank slate, a tabula rasa, for you to be the main character and write your own story in your own manner. Liberating. Which leads us perfectly into what I was trying to talk about next, which is, given that the fact that everyone is chasing their understanding of normal, which, like I said, can change depending on the kind of social circles you are in, can we truly know someone at all? So this brings me to an interesting paradox called Zeno's paradox, where he talks about Achilles and the tortoise. Achilles is a man who plans on having a race with the tortoise, and the tortoise agrees, saying, as long as I get a head start, we two can have a race. And Achilles says, okay. So the tortoise starts running.
So I really started to struggle at around sometime this point in explaining the paradox. What it essentially means is that since the tortoise already has a head start, whenever Achilles reaches a point that the tortoise has already walked past, the tortoise is already at the next point on his path. So in theory, Achilles can never actually run alongside the tortoise, because the tortoise would have already moved ahead.
So what this means for us is that you can never really know someone at all, because by the time you think you are at a level where you understand them, their level of understanding has already changed, because everything is in a state of flux, everything is in a state of motion, everything is in a state of evolution, you and the other person as well. So by the time you reach their understanding, they have already moved on to their next understanding, and by the time you reach that, they've already moved on to the next level of understanding. Since everything is changing at all times, I don't think we can know people ever at all. I think we can only accept them. Because you see, knowing involves kind of this psychological hegemony, this kind of psychological power play, in which there is this trinity of knower, known, and the act of knowing itself, which causes this kind of separation between all three. Whereas acceptance acts on more of a level playing field, where there is a higher possibility of oneness and this kind of overcoming of duality, which is essentially what we are all here to do, to celebrate diversity, being on this big beautiful blue planet with people with different minds, people who think differently, people who act differently, and that is the beauty of being here. We're all in this together. So the point of this all is to celebrate diversity and beauty in all forms of earth, but to be true to your own inner being, because there is no external normal, there is only mainstream, and you can choose whether to participate in that mainstream or not, or whether to diverge away from the circle you are currently in, move to a new circle, and then participate in the mainstream there or not. So the question is eternal, the question never really goes away. What stays is your own true inner being, as Richard Bach once quoted in one of his books. Your only obligation in any lifetime is to be true to yourself. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.